Well, this is certainly a weird topic for me to cover for a video. Yes, out of all the videos I've made, this is definitely the strangest one, but I feel like I should probably show this off to the world because, it's very unique that a person of my age and my caliber actually has one. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of the most famous variations of the original Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, released in 1998 in in all of Japan, in North America, and in Europe, where I live. I got this for Christmas in 2017, and I have a few games for it. So before I talk about the games, I want to actually look at the console or handheld. Yeah, so I'm gonna try my best to hide my face. So as you can see, it has a very sleek design. It's very pronounced on the little So it has the A and B buttons. It has a D-pad, something that Nintendo invented. It has the select and start button. It has a speaker. So a few other features. It has an on and off button. It has it takes two AA batteries, unlike the original Game Boy, which took a few more. It has this thing, which I guess is to play different Game Boy Color. Would you like to play online to play games with another person's Game Boy Color, and also to connect the light thing that came with this. There's the volume. There's the uh there's the headphone jack, which I've not used yet. And then there's also this thing, which still do not know what this is. Yeah, so as you can see, oh yeah, also apparently this says it's made in China, which doesn't make a lot of sense because Nintendo's a Japanese company. Yeah, so as you can see, it's very well functioning, but the real question, it looks very good. It's in real good condition aside from this little dent right here. But the real question is, does it work? It does indeed. So I currently have 5 games for the Game Boy Color. Kirby Dream Land 2, Tetris DX, Donkey Kong Country, Tom and Jerry Mass Attacks, and Kirby Tilt and Tumble. I'll be going in release order, starting with this one, Kirby's Dream Land 2. Also, I'm going to be showing gameplay from different videos on YouTube because A, I'm not very good at games, and 2, I'm even worse when I'm trying to hold a phone and try to play this little thing at the same time. So I'll just show the cartridge a bit. Very good. I'll plug it in for obvious purposes. Oh yeah, this thing can take Game Boy cartridges, and Tetris is can be, if it's a black cartridge, that signifies that can be played on both the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. But the gray one is Game Boy only. Then there's these ones, which can be played only on the Game Boy if they have a little bump and you can see on the inside of them. Anyway, so this is the first of these games, Kirby's Dream Land 2. Kirby's Dream Land 2 is the second Kirby Dream Land game. Kirby was one of the biggest franchise on the Game Boy, aside from, actually, I don't think Mario was that popular on the Game Boy, or especially not the Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance. But but Kirby was definitely the franchise when it came to handhelds. But yeah, for some reason, whenever I don't know how to save this game. It won't let me go into a menu to save it, so it doesn't automatically save, so that's nice. Yeah, so what I like about this game is that it introduces a new animal mechanic where you can basically have animal friends in some levels. But I also like the fact that this is also the first Kirby game, handheld Kirby game with copy abilities, where Kirby can suck up an enemy and it will get its powers. Something that was introduced in Kirby's Adventure, previously released for the NES in 1993, and got a Game Boy Advance port, which is Nightmare in Dreamland, released in 2002. So, of course, this game is very well known by a lot of people. As you can see from my the footage, I'm not obviously not playing this game. This right there. So yeah, that's basically what I like about the Game Boy Color version is that it's also very. I like how they have different colors for each of the worlds, or levels as they're called in this game. Level 1 is yellow, level 2 is green, level 3 is blue, level 4 is also blue, level 5 is red, level 6 is orange, and finally level 7 is purple. And as you can see, there's a lot of levels in level 7. There's 7 stages in level 7. I have to call them stages in this because, of course, you have to distinguish them now. Yippee. Next game is Tetris DX. This game was one of the launch titles for the Game Boy Color, and it's kind of obvious why it was. This game is one of the original Tetris on the original Game Boy is one of the most well-known video games of all time because of its amazing theme, but also because of its really fun gameplay mechanics, and just an all-around great introduction to what would become one of the most famous consoles Nintendo has ever shut out. But of course, one of the first game that Nintendo had to make for the Game Boy Color was, of course, Tetris in color. No, it's weird because you can play Tetris on the Game Boy Color in color, but I guess they just wanted to make it so unique that they put him in color. But there's also a few game modes in here that I like as well. There's regular, which is just get the highest score you can. It's easy as pie for some people. There's there's a few other game modes, like there's Ultra, where you have to get as many lines as possible or as high a score as possible until the time runs out. 40 lines, where you have to try and get 40 lines as fast as possible. And then there's versus.com. I still have no idea how that works, so I've just decided to not play it until I learn how to play it. So yeah, that's basically Tetris DX. There's nothing that much to it. Unfortunately, they do not have the original music, a national tragedy that we should all take a moment of silence for. Music Type A is pretty good. Anyway, next game. Next game is Donkey Kong Country. I would get the cartridge out, but it's in like these types of boxes that are just a pain in the neck to open. So I'm not going to spend my time I'm not going to waste my time doing that. So yeah, this is the box. It looks pretty nice. Oh yeah, now we're getting to Game Boy Color exclusive games. This can be played on both the Game Boy Color and original Game Boy, but these 3 games from now on can only be played on the Game Boy Color. And if you try to play them on the Game Boy, they'll just say, "You're on the wrong console, dumbass, go back on the Game Boy Color," or some variation of that. So Donkey Kong Country is the next in the games that I have by going about release dates. So they basically try to do what Donkey Kong Land did, where they would have Donkey Kong Country sprites put into this, except the problem with that is that they look completely horrifying. Now this came at a time where Nintendo still owned Rare. Okay, they didn't own Rare, but they had a lot of their games were produced by Rare, which is a video game company. And so, of course, there was a lot of, I don't know what just happened. Yes, so, of course, there would be a loss of Rare games by Nintendo, but then Microsoft bought Rare in 2002, and everything collapsed. So this is one of the last games made by Rare, but it wasn't original, it was just a Porsche, which I don't know why there is a Porsche, because as you can see, it looks horrifying. It looks horrible, disgusting, ugly, stupid. And I tried playing for myself, and I don't know how to play. Okay, I do, but the only platformer I'm good at is Kirby and Mario. Give me a break. I keep dying in this game. I don't know why. I just suck at games, that's all. I'm not that much of a game kind of guy. I'm much more into movies. I like watching people play games, but forget about that. Yeah, so this game is fine. It's kind of ugly, obviously, because it is impressive how they can do this on the technology of the Game Boy Color. Remember, this thing was more advanced than the original Game Boy. It was in color, but also it was a more sleeker and more advanced console, handheld in general. So yeah, that's basically Donkey Kong Country. From what I've played, I haven't even got past World 1 yet. So yay for me. Next up is Tom and Jerry Mouse Attacks, also released in 2000. This is another Game Boy Color exclusive, as you can see from the thing. Yes, so I got this because I like Tom and Jerry, but also wanted to get stuff from the year 2000. But for some reason, when I was younger, I had this obsession over the year 2000. It was just such a weird year to, I wasn't alive, but it was a weird year to exist in for a lot of people because, it was the new millennium, so things were obviously getting more advanced. Uh, but yeah, I haven't really played that much of this game. I'm more of a Tetris kind of guy. It's the game I'm the best at on the Game Boy Color. So yeah, I like this game perfectly fine. Well, from what I've played, I have had a really hard time trying to play it because I don't understand how to play this game. Such a hard game to play. I don't know how to play a lot of platformers that aren't Mario or Kirby. So yeah, it's kind of hard. But maybe one day I might actually play this game. But yeah. There's a lot more to it than just Tom and Jerry shenanigans. And our final game is... Yeah, this game actually attempted voice clips on the Game Boy Color of all things. It's impressive, but what's even more impressive is the actual game itself. Kirby Tilt & Tumble is the most recent game, but recent is kind of a bleak definition because this was released back in 2000 in Japan and 2001 in North America and here in Europe. So let me just put the game in and voila, there's gameplay on the screen. Woohoo. So yeah, what makes this game really unique is its mechanic of being a motion sensor game on the Game Boy Color, which is definitely a very unique idea. But also I like the music. The mechanics are pretty good. It controls surprisingly very well. A lot of games that use motion controls don't really age that well, especially old games. Also, I apologize for the bad quality, but some of these videos are in 144p, which is obviously, as you know, the the literally the lowest quality video you can watch on YouTube. So hooray for that. Yeah, so I like the mechanics of this game. Also, I find it annoying that you can't play this on anything except a Game Boy Color. If you try to play it on the Game Boy, you know what'll happen. But if you try playing on the Game Boy Advance SP or on the Game Boy Advance SP, it will just go backwards because the thing has like a motion sensor in it. So if it's upside down, then it'll be the complete opposite. For like some directions, left will be up will be down and then down will be up, something like that. Yeah. So when I got the game for Christmas, it was already completed. Santa already completed it. But I decided to try and play the full game for myself, and I'm currently on World 4, so it's not the most overcomplicated thing. I mean, it is kind of a hard game at times, but yeah, that's kind of obvious for a game with this whole technology. Yeah, sure, it's sometimes kind of clunky and it's very hard to see without a backlight. Yeah, I forgot to mention, this thing doesn't have a backlight, so I have to constantly play under a light, which is very hard for a Kirby Tilt & Tumble because I'm constantly moving the thing like this in order to get the controls right. Also, sometimes the physics just decide to go, but just decide to go bazonkers on me, and they just sometimes I don't know. I can't seem to stay like when I try to lay it out like this. It sometimes goes a little bit sideways, which doesn't make any sense at all. But oh well, there isn't really that much point in complaining because I still really like this game, even if I haven't completed it yet. But I will eventually. Just you wait. I will complete it. Don't know when, but I will. Yeah, for now I'll just play some more Tetris. So yeah, I really like the Game Boy Color. Yeah, sure, it's old, it doesn't have a backlight. And some games can be hard to control nowadays, but I still really like this game because it has a very unique use of motion controls. And actually, in just general, I like this thing. It has a very good motion control sensor on some of the games. I like some of the games I've actually played on them. I like the design. I like holding in my hand. It's very compact and not too hard to hold. I really like this thing. It may not be the most modern thing, but I feel like we should uh protect modern technology, old technology more like, because if we can't keep it safe, then it'll go out of date forever instead of just not existing anymore. So yeah, if you have a Game Boy Color at your house, uh, take care of it and nurture it, because you never know when it will just no longer work anymore. Which is why I always have two AA batteries on standby just in case it dies. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little analysis video of the Game Boy Color, and make sure you like and subscribe for more stranger videos like this. Goodbye.